How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Without further ado, we're going to jump onto the charts today. I have a trade breakdown for you, a trade that we took today. We also took it in the Telegram group, so if you guys want to join, feel free to check it out. But yeah, we're going to jump onto the charts. I'm going to walk you through exactly how I took this trade. It's using the stuff that I've taught before. I've made loads of videos on it, so if you want to check those videos out as well, feel free. But yeah, without further ado, let's get on to the charts. Okay, so as you can see, this was the trade that we took here. Now, I have a coffee here as well to explain. My God, that's hot. I'm going to talk you through this trade, tell you how we took it, and what we were looking at. And it was just using stuff that I've always used, pretty much only structure and things like that. So let's get into it. If I just remove all of this stuff, see it from scratch. So what were we looking at? Well, let's go back a little bit and identify a high. So we have this high here. You could use this high as well, but to be honest, if I draw a gap like this, you can kind of see that they're like fairly similar, so it doesn't really matter which one you use. So I just went for the lower one, but we have this high, right? So then what happens is we push down, we create this low, we push up, we create this high, and then we push down. But if you remember from my last video about breaks of structure, if you haven't watched it, go and check it out. But if you've watched it, you'll know that I would not class this here as a break of structure. This is not a break of structure to me, and there's more details obviously elsewhere, but this isn't a break of structure in my opinion. So we failed to break this low technically because there isn't any volume, suggesting that it wants to go lower. And then what do we have straight after that? Push up, and what do? Break the previous high. So we failed to really drive price lower, and we've then broken the high. So if I just draw this on so that it becomes a bit easier for you to see. So we have this low. So we now break out of the high. And the reason why, you might be saying, well, why is this not a break, but this is, when they're kind of like similar? The reason is that we've just broken now the high that made the low, whereas here all we were doing is trying to make a new low below this one. It's not like we'd broken like some super strong low. This is a strong high, however, because it was the high that caused the low that then got broken. So that's why basically. But again, I have another YouTube video on breaks of structure and stuff. Feel free to check it out. So this becomes our new high of interest, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to delete that and draw a new line across like so. So this becomes our new high of interest, and push down. And now what do? We fail to break the low that we made down here. So we've now created a higher high and a lower low, a higher low here. Obviously, that is resemblant of bullish structure. So in my strategy, we would actually be looking to buy somewhere in like this area here, but there are a few reasons why we didn't. And the main reason is, if you look at the time, we were at, this entry would have happened around 3 a.m. So we didn't want to do that. So obviously I was asleep as well. That's the other factor. But what do we have? This high, push up, and now we properly punch through it. And then what do? Retest into the high. That is our sort of textbook, it's time to reverse trade kind of thing. But we didn't take it. And you might be going, why didn't we take it? The reason we didn't take it is, if we look at the time here, it tapped in at 6:45, which is pre-London. I don't trade pre-London. And again, I was also asleep. So we didn't take that. But luckily, the way that I trade and the way that my strategy is, there is always another opportunity to get into the markets. And so let's mark up the new thing we had. So we pushed up and we created these sort of highs here. And then London comes in and it blows not only through this area, but it also blows through this sort of strong high over here. Then all we need to do is get an entry, and we look at this sort of area here, comes in, closes well, we get like a doji candle, and then we push away for the classic TP of 10 pips, 30 pip TP. Very simple trade, very textbook trade, nothing too much to it. But hopefully, me explaining this made it easier for you. Okay, so as you can probably tell, it is a couple days later, but I'm going to go over the next trade, which is this one here. So what we're looking at essentially here is we're looking this area here. So what we did was we looked at the breakout of this area here. Obviously we had the utmost high here, come down, and then we break out of it. So that's sort of the first thing, right? And then what happens is we get the next push down here, and we break this low, which broke these double highs here, double tops, whatever you want to call it. So we were clearly bearish, right? Very, very clearly bearish. And so all we were waiting for really was an entry. Now, the first entry area could have been in here, and I kind of missed it, so we didn't get in there. But then what we did was, when price pushed down and broke out of this area, we waited for price to come back up and into this zone like so, and we got our entry. And then to trade manage, obviously we were looking for a break of this low here like that, and you can see we pushed and we broke. Now a lot of people say that they might close when they see, if I just move this, when they see these sort of wicks here. Now the reason why I wasn't too worried about closing was because of the fact we'd already broken this major low. So it was a very sort of simple, just wait for it to push up, and it was very clear what it did. As you know, I love structure. Structure is the thing that makes most sense to me. Pushed down, came back, retested into the structure, or the low that was previous before it getting broken, and that retest there just really confirmed that it was going to go to TP. And as you can see, we dropped to TP very nicely, and actually this structure area ended up being quite a strong area into later in the week. And in terms of the rest of the week, I didn't take anything, so it was 6% total for this week. I was potentially looking at getting into this area here, but I didn't really like it because of the sort of amount of fair value gap that needed filling up there, so I didn't take it. And then Friday, we didn't really see anything that we liked. We had like this low here that we were looking to break. Didn't really like that break here, and then that big push down. We just missed our entry. I believe our entry was in this area like that, so we just missed it, which is annoying, but what can you do? But hopefully we'll have another good week. 6% this week is very good. In terms of what do I expect for next week, well, we are still clearly bearish. We've just broken these lows, retested into it again. So now what I really would want to see maybe is a break of this high here and a failure to break this area here. If we can, start doing something like that, then I may expect to go bullish later in the week. But for now, we're still very, very bearish. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to hit the like button, and I will see you in the next one.